This 86% RT fantasy show is the perfect The Summer I Turned Pretty replacement while you wait for the movie. After 3 seasons of Taylor Swift, Yearning, and Anguish, The Summer I Turned Pretty has finally come to a dazzling end. Belly has made her choice, and it's stayed pretty much the same as the books. She called off her wedding and chose Conrad over Jeremiah after a year of soul-searching. While there were some differences in how this went down, the endgame stayed the same, firmly establishing the victory of Team Conrad over Team Jeremiah. While many thought that the ending of the Season 3 finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty was a bit rushed, author Jenny Han, whose books the series is based on, announced shortly after it that there would be a The Summer I Turned Pretty movie. With no release date in sight, fans are left with a void where there used to be a new episode every Wednesday, but there is another 8-season-long drama that fans can watch to recapture the same magic of The Summer I Turned Pretty. The Vampire Diaries had a fantastic love triangle. The Summer I Turned Pretty was typical escapist television, but what made it so beloved was the love triangle. More importantly, it was a love triangle that involved 2 brothers, which has come back into trend on television lately. Love triangles involving 2 siblings can be seen everywhere now, from Bridgerton to My Life with the Walter Boys, but there is one show that scratches the itch better than anyone else, The Vampire Diaries. Released back in 2009, this vampire fantasy show remains one of the most relevant and rewatched shows of all time, and the romance is the main reason. Much like The Summer I Turned Pretty, the central plot of The Vampire Diaries is a love triangle between Elena Gilbert and the Salvatore brothers Damon and Stefan, who fall for her at the same time. Elena is a doppelganger of Catherine, an ancient vampire whom both the brothers loved hundreds of years ago. However, it is Elena's vulnerability and humanity that draw the brothers in. At first, Elena meets Stefan at school, and they fall in love almost immediately. They face several hurdles, especially the fact that Stefan is a vampire, but Elena's love for him is too great for that to get in the way. However, the entry of roguish Damon Salvatore, Stefan's brother, changes things for Stefan and Elena's relationship. While she is dedicated to Stefan, Elena can't help but also feel for Damon, who shows tremendous character growth through The Vampire Diaries. This creates immense anguish and yearning between the 3, as Stefan struggles with Elena's shifting affections and Damon wants what he can't have. Meanwhile, Elena herself has to contend with why and how her heart wants what it wants, which leads to a thrilling 6-season-long romantic entanglement for fans to enjoy. Love triangles were very popular in the O, with shows like One Tree Hill and TVD having the trope embedded in the foundation of the story. While there was immense criticism of the trope in the late 2010s, there has been a resurgence of it in recent times, with The Summer I Turned Pretty leading the charge. What has become even more popular is love triangles that involve siblings, and the possible reason for this could be that people are increasingly looking for excitement and escape in their hectic lives. Brotherly or sisterly love triangles are taboo, and hence provide fans with an adrenaline rush that they know is a guilty pleasure. The Summer I Turned Pretty revived this trend by telling viewers the story of Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, and the complicated love they all shared for each other. Just like The Vampire Diaries, which had fans divided into Team Damon and Team Stefan, The Summer I Turned Pretty created Team Conrad and Team Jeremiah, where people were rooting for one brother or the other. While Seasons 1 and 2 dropped all their episodes at once, Season 3 was drip-fed to the audience, which created a lot of hype around who Belly would choose. This mimicked the phenomenon of The Vampire Diaries, as those were also episodic drops back before the existence of streaming, and the anticipation for the final choice in the love triangle was very high. The Summer I Turned Pretty and The Vampire Diaries had one big difference. While both these shows dealt with a common object of affection between 2 brothers, they concluded slightly differently. Elena Gilbert had a big choice to make between Stefan and Damon. One offered her healthy love, while the other offered excitement and passion in life. However, since Nina Dobrev, who played Elena on the show, exited The Vampire Diaries after Season 6, the love triangle came to a grinding halt. While the tension and slow burn were achieved in the first 6 seasons, where Elena chose Damon over Stefan, any further developments couldn't happen as she left the show. This made sure that when Elena returned in The Vampire Diaries series finale, she was firmly with Damon, and Stefan didn't get much of a chance. So, in Elena's case, she stayed with the brother she chose later, as her need for an exciting life trumped stability. Being with Damon allowed Elena to discover the enjoyable parts of life, and that was what she ultimately wanted. However, many fans thought that if Elena had stuck around, there could have been a chance that she would return to Stefan. Conversely, Belly's choice was the opposite in The Summer I Turned Pretty. She had been with Conrad for a few months at the beginning of the show, and then chosen Jeremiah when Conrad let her go. Belly's college years were spent with Jeremiah, and they had a different but fulfilling relationship with each other. However, the cracks started appearing when Belly found out that Jeremiah had cheated on her when they were on a break, but they still decided to get married to each other after Stephen met with an accident. Even when almost everyone was against the early wedding, Jeremiah and Belly went full speed ahead, until Belly realized her true feelings. Over the previous months, she had spent a lot of alone time with Conrad, which reminded her of how much and why she loved him. This was why she ultimately ended up calling off the wedding, because she couldn't marry Jeremiah while she still loved Conrad. After a year of soul-searching and moving to Paris, Belly found a life away from the Fisher brothers. She made new friends, dated Benito, and built something new for herself, which was a very healthy route for her to take. A year after she separated herself from her old life, Conrad visited her, and it wasn't long before the sparks rekindled, even after so much time away from her. A delayed realization and a romantic train station chase later, Belly and Conrad ended up together, for good this time. The key difference here was that while Elena chose the brother that she fell in love with later, Belly went back to her first love. Her bond with Conrad was a special one that had existed for decades, and she only wanted him, even when she had a world full of people to choose from. Elena, however, knew both the brothers for roughly the same amount of time, and she wanted to listen to her heart after years of repressing her feelings. Elena and Belly are two strong, admirable female characters, and they had their own unique love triangles with brothers. Many have lambasted the characters for their choices, as they created some serious barriers between family, but there is no doubt that both The Vampire Diaries and The Summer I Turned Pretty have been hugely entertaining shows. The latter is all set to have a concluding movie, which will stream on Prime Video, but there is no release date for that as of now. Jenny Han has a draft ready for the film, but it will be a while before fans of Belly and Conrad will see more of their lives, possibly their wedding, in this last part of the show. Till then, they can dig into the deliciously tense romance between Damon, Elena, and Stefan, which lasted 6 out of 8 seasons, and had a triumphant conclusion in Season 8, nonetheless.